Okay, I have to make this kind of quick because I've been messing with dolls. So I've actually kind of running late on my schedule for today. I'm messing with dolls because I put together some dolls yesterday and I dressed them. Oh, one of them dressed. I was trying to dress them last night and I wasn't inspired. So I thought I would dress them this morning before I left to do my errands, and I wasn't inspired. So I got back, it's like, I have to get these dolls dressed up for the video just because I don't want to show nude dolls, because they're not that spectacular as far as dolls go. I went through my doll head box and was messing around finding, you know, which heads could go on bodies and things, and, hold on, I gotta sneeze. It's that time of year. Okay, so, before I get to the dolls and heads, I want to show I did paint a face, sort of. I had the spare tan made to move body, and I wanted to put a head on it. So I'd been going through my heads box over and over and over and not finding anybody who jumped out as who I really wanted. I had some matches. It matched like a 1990s Teresa head pretty well, but nobody I really wanted to use. So, hold on. So, I started going through this box, which is dolls that are okay whole, like a lot of vintage, like mod era dolls with their groovy bodies, twist and turn bodies. And in that box was a Hawaiian Barbie this is one of those dolls they made year after year after year with lots of variations. So from the mid to late 70s. And her skin tone is perfect. It's a Steffi sculpt, which everybody likes the Steffi sculpt. The main issues were her hairline is like up here. I haven't corrected that yet. And the other thing was her paint was really, really, really terrible on the eyes. Her eyebrows are different heights. It's like the stencil for the eyebrows might have gone on crooked. One eye had like the black eyeliner under it was printed really big and low, and the other one you couldn't even see it, and then the pupil on the one side kind of went down into that back eyeliner, or the iris, and it was just so, I painted over, I tried to even up the eyes. I actually overcompensated in the other direction. The eye that was too big is now a little bit smaller, but I didn't touch the eyebrows, and that's the eyebrow that's lower, and of course I made her side glance because I like side glance, so now she looks like she's got kind of a snarky expression looking up to the side. The other thing that I had been holding back from using this doll head was she had really, really dark red lipstick, which worked fine for the doll on its own, but with my doll aesthetic, I had like one piece of clothing that matched it, and it was just a shirt. And it didn't really fit this body because it's made for a slightly smaller body than Made to Move. So I went over her and I painted over her eyes and I painted over her lips and I gave her a touch of blush. Like I said, I haven't done a thing with her hair, so she still has a lot of forehead. But here she is on Made to Move body. So I have posted pictures of her on Instagram. But yes, like I said, I left her eyebrows uneven, and when thought I was finished with her, I realized her eyes weren't uneven, but they work with the eyebrows, like she's giving somebody a side eye. So she went from badly painted to badly painted with attitude. I will say the other thing about painting her is, we all know we're getting older. I finally gave in and borrowed a pair of my husband's reading glasses. I think actually the magnification was too much, but I was able to see the strokes in the lip paint so much better than I ever have that honestly I probably should have been using magnifying glasses, reading glasses to paint dolls for the last 20 years. So that was fun. New discovery in doll painting. So I was happy to get her put together. Happy to finally use this head. I did have to route out the inside of it with the Dremel so it would fit on this body because the Hawaiian Barbie just had a turn-only cut joint for a head. So there she is. Like I said, I have pictures on Instagram of her. And then I was going through, like I said, the box of heads. I just wanted to put some more random dolls together. And I did. Starting with, well, actually I got all these heads out. Okay. One of them was one of the heads that Cosmo Moore sent that he gave a new face up to. The other head I'm actually working on getting the hair in. I'm doing a reroot with a really thin yarn, so just a little bit at a time while waiting for the kiddo to get out of school. So that's probably going to take a while. But, so the other head he sent, I decided I would just go ahead and put a wig on. And so I was going through the wigs that Safi sent. And this color I just thought worked so well with these purple eyes that he made on this face up. So here she is. On a live body, because this is a really pale face. I'm sure this was the Made to Move, nominally Asian one with the really pale skin from the first wave of Made to Move dolls. What was she? I can't remember the shirt names. That has the Leah sculpt and the pale skin tone. So this live body isn't quite pale enough, but it's a lot closer than any of the Barbie bodies that I had to spare. So I just got her dressed. This is like the only pair of Liv shoes I have too, I think. I might have a pair of Liv sneakers. Maybe. So, not sure what the aesthetic is on this one. I was kind of thinking punk and goth before I started putting clothes on her, and then I need to make a lot more little individual pieces of black clothing so I can actually have more goth dolls. Like, I was doing a project sewing for, that's what I've been doing since last video, was mostly some sewing some things for me, like leggings and a dress, like an underdress to wear when it gets cooler so I can start piling on the layers. It's not that cool yet. But, so I was getting into my bag of lace and trims, and there's some pieces of black lace that I really should turn into little more black lace dresses for the dolls eventually. But for now, here she's wearing this kind of antique kind of outfit. So that was a head that I had not had on a body before. And these other two, the next two, are heads I have had on bodies, different bodies. Like this head I'd had on an Ever After High body. The smaller Ever After High body they also gave flat feet to. But I'm still not enamored with the Ever After High neck. So I put this head on this older Barbie Fashionista's articulated body. This body I had an action figure head on, and action figure head, I left the action figure head stock, so it actually had some neck on it, so I actually had, let's see if I can do this gracefully, yeah, cut down the original Barbie neck and then Dremel the top off of it so it was rounder. And then I had, just for the action figure, I had very gracelessly put this screw into it and then put a broken neck peg flange onto it. And that's what I had the action figure head on with. And since this head originally was on a spherical neck knob, it needs a lot of bulk to hold it on. So I was going through my odds and ends of stuff that I just collect on the off chance. I have a timer set, so hopefully it won't talk. When that timer goes off, I have to stop the video. Maybe I'll pick it up after the kiddo gets home from school, I'm not sure. Anyway, so I was going through my bits and pieces of stuff, and I think this rubbery thing had been in a computer peripheral interior thing that husband took apart. Like a DVD drive or something to reduce vibration. And see, I got it onto the head under the body very easily last night. Of course, now that I'm doing it and I have a timer, it's gonna get ugly. Okay, so that's why her neck is kind of short, because the neck is short, but there's not a lot of heads that are going to work with this body anymore. And I can't remember if the neck had been broken, which is why I decided to go ahead and sacrifice this for that action figure body. Let's see, are these, did I string these legs on, or are they originally the original legs? I always feel like I'm being so rude to the dolls. Okay, these are sewn on. So these were the original legs that this body had. And I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but they're both the right foot. Even though the hip is correct on the side that is the left, the foot is not. So this poor body got some quality control problems, so I didn't mind modifying it. And now, I don't know if this is going to be her permanent body, but the skin tone matches pretty good, and once you get shoes on, when the shoes aren't differentiated right foot, left foot, they work fine. And then the next thing is, this is a head I got from Pandora a while ago. It came on a little plastic body, and I had it on just a variety of bodies trying to find it. And then I was going through the body box and I realized, even though it's mostly covered up and you can't see it, this Disney Descendants body that Flo sent, let's see, where's her elbow, actually matches this head pretty well. It's just, basically when I dressed this doll, I started with a scarf and worked up because, you know, I'm not fond of the Ever After High, Monster High necks, the way they flare out. With the Hasbro Disney Descendants bodies do the same thing, just with a different angle. So I had put this scarf at the bottom to try to make the neck look more even. I might go through with the Dremel and grind off more of the top of the neck so she can sit down on it. There's like lots of bits of plastic bulking up the top of the neck. And another thing that John does with the Descendants bodies, he cuts the big high-heeled feet off and gives them smaller feet, and that makes the bodies more proportional with little heads like this. And again, I don't know what look this is. I started with the scarf and just started adding more and more and more layers, and then I don't have a lot of shoes that fit this body, so that got weird, and I've been wanting to put this vintage off-brand doll coat on somebody just because it's so of its time. I remember when coats like this were fashionable in the late 70s, early 80s, but her hair fiber is terrible and her rooting is not great. And there's some holes in her forehead. She had originally had bangs. There was like a ribbon headband and some bangs that were not anyway touching the rest of her hair. So I may give her new hair sometime once I get the body completely worked out. Or I may not, because it's got a really nice curl in it. And then there was another head I found in the body box, and I thought, why haven't I used this head for anything? It's got pink hair, it has a closed mouth head sculpt, it's an odd skin tone for Mattel. I mean, it is Mattel, but it matches Liv pretty well, so I just have to... This was originally a Fairytopia fairy body, so the neck opening is kind of small. So I just have to open up the neck with the Dremel a bit, and it will fit on this body, and I thought, why hadn't I used it? It's because, I don't know if the camera will pick this up, it is full of glue. It's the white glue, so it's not the kind that seeps out and makes the hair all oily and nasty, but it's still glue that really Mattel why. So I finally stopped in Dollar Tree and picked up some of this LA's Totally Awesome. This is what Tiffy uses to get the glue out of doll heads. She soaks the doll heads in straight Totally Awesome. I forget if it's the white glue or the yellow glue. I think one of the it works on both of them. One of them, it just dries out and then it comes out in chunks. And the other one, I think it just comes out in chunks because it's kind of dry already. Anyway, she's done experimenting and it doesn't affect the hair color. And it mostly doesn't affect the face paint. It might fade some lips that are really reddish. And the glitter, if you want to keep the glitter, which I don't want to keep this glitter, some of the glitter comes out okay, some of the glitter turns white. But I'm going to get this head soaking in this sometime soon, then maybe by next week this head will actually have no glue in it, because it's icky. Okay, I got 4.5 minutes left to ramble. The last thing I'm going to show you is, I changed some doll's clothes and I could show you those, but I can show you those. The last thing I want to show you, if you remember last week, right before the video, I said I had just won an auction. I wasn't sure if the doll would get here by this week's video. It did. The doll actually got here by Friday. And it is a Sasha in box. Probably mint, although things don't age well, like the brass snaps on her shoes are getting verdigris. Like green ear on the old Barbies, it's getting green on the rest of her shoe. But she has that fresh vinyl smell. So, Sasha is a doll I learned about in the 90s. And at first, I didn't think anything about them all. And then I started thinking, well, those are weird. And then they started growing on me. And I know part of it is I see how much people love their Sasha dolls. I can't see me getting a lot of Sasha dolls, although I did find this one in a thrift store 2 years ago, which one of the local doll people is a Sasha person, and she can't believe that I found a Sasha in a thrift store in Nashville area. So I have a Sasha doll now. I think her stringing is still fine, although when I took her out of her box, I could just hear the elastic on her clothes disintegrating and falling like snow, clicky, 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 into the box. But I haven't done anything with her besides take some pictures because I've been preoccupied with other things. So I'm kind of saving her for, I don't know. I know these dolls are able to balance well, but like I said, I'm not sure if her stringing is any good. Okay. And so she's still in her original clothes. She's one of those made in the Trendon England dolls, which I think this one is too. I mean, you can see I've had this doll for about 2 years and haven't made clothes for. I've made clothes in the size that I gave to the other person around here who likes Sasha dolls, but I haven't made anything for this doll, but I might now. I might make clothes for them to put on eBay to get the cost back, because I think I got a good deal on this, but a good deal on Sasha is still kind of an expensive doll. But I do like her brown hair. I've never been too thrilled. Usually when you see Sasha's, you see the blonde hair, blue eyes. I do like her brown hair and brown eyes. As you know, I like brown eyes. So I will do something with her someday, just not yet. And I have kind of vaguely sort of had the urge to purge more dolls again. So I might be going through my dolls and finding who could go to a new home soon. But I might not. You know how. Once you start looking at the dolls, it's like, I can't get rid of you, but I should. So I got a minute left. I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye this week, just so I don't keep rambling randomly about who knows what, because you know that's what I do. So thank you for watching. Hopefully next week I won't be so rushed, and hopefully I can report some good news about this. So the weather's lovely here. I hope it's good where you are. Have a great week. Thanks for watching.